Hey, what is up, everyone? It's the Mad King Paradox that's bringing you my review of, more thought, the taught English. How does it work? My thoughts on the Goodra Farewell episode, Pokemon X and Y episode 70. Now, as we all know, who've been following along with this is the episode where we part ways with Goodra. Now, first off, it was very emotional. They did wrap up the plot within the wetlands regarding the Goodra art. No, that's obvious. Some things I wanted to address, though. One, the Goodra and Florges pairing, if you will, in two ways. I kind of guessed one before we saw it, but the other one I wasn't really expecting. And that was more along the lines of the shipping, if you will. Like when you, at the end of the episode, when the Flabebe evolution, who's Floette. Yeah, when the Floette, is revived enough to move, and grabs Florge's hand and then grabs Goodra's hand, and they have that like little looking at each other type thing. You know, I wasn't really expecting that, but the thing I was expecting completely was a partnership between Florges and Goodra in order to protect the wetlands. Now, we saw that because Team Rocket was stealing the water. Goodra was using Rain Dance to refill all the water in the wetlands. And then Florges was using grassy terrain in order to bring back the plant life. Now, the thing I was thinking before this episode was, now we have two powerhouses protecting this area. We have Goodra and we have Florges. Both of them able to, it's pretty much like a half and half type of thing, where Goodra's able to do half of the area by himself, and then Florge is able to do the other half by herself. Primarily the the plant life of the area, while Goodra does the water, like I said. But now, of course, Pokemon logic dictates both fighting sides are now living harmoniously within the wetlands. Then Ash sees how useful Goodra would be in protecting his home. So we got the release. But here's the thing I want to say about that. I saw a couple of people review this, and I watched the episode myself, and a majority of us got the same feeling that this isn't a release. Yes, there was an emotional scene between Ash and company and Goodra, where they had the flashbacks of them first meeting Goomy, and then evolving into Sliggoo, and then into Goodra, and then all the battles that it's been into, like the Ash and Clamont gym battle. And then it was a really emotional scene. Bonnie and Dedenne were really, really upset about it. Ash was pretty tore up about it, it seemed. But the thing is, they cut it off after the last flashback, and then instead of what Ash usually does when he releases a Pokemon, where you just see the Pokemon fade off into the distance while Ash is waving at it teary-eyed, the end of the episode was the old man who lived there, whose name I have no idea because I don't understand Japanese, the Florges, Goodra, and then all the other Pokemon there waving goodbye in a happy-go-lucky type of setting. When, if you compare it to the release of Butterfree and Charizard, Butterfree mainly, where you just saw Butterfree fly away into the distance with that pink Butterfree so he can go get laid, where Ash was all teary-eyed waving at him, saying his goodbyes. And then with Charizard, he was like you need to stay here in the Charizard Valley and train with all these OP Charizards so you can get stronger like you want. And then he ran off and left Charizard behind. But with Goodra, they were all happy, they were smiling. It didn't feel like a real farewell, is what I'm saying. And a lot of people, including myself, believe that this isn't a complete farewell. The way I'm seeing it is, it's either going to be like Gliscor, where he parts ways with it for a while, but then it comes back as a full-on member of the team, because Florges is still there. So it has a strong protector. So it won't. So once the water becomes stable again, they're not going to need Goodra. But I see it more along the lines of Charizard and Squirtle, where it's not going to be in his team for the most part, but whenever he needs it, he can call the old man and say, hey, I need Goodra for a little while, and he can send Goodra back. Now, the thing that a couple of people talked about that I didn't catch at first was there was no Pokeball exchange. Like, Ash did not give the old man his Pokeball. So, we don't know if he did or not, because it just jumped from the tearful remembrance of Goodra to Ash and company walking away, and then that was it. So we don't know if the old man has Goodra's Pokeball. We don't know if Ash still has it. It's really not clear. They might have said something, but I couldn't understand it. So it's really kind of up in the air at the moment. So my thought is, well, my primary thought is, it's going to be like Charizard in the sense of he's going to call on it whenever he needs it, but it won't be a part of his team. Which kind of sucks because, again, along with everyone else, Ash is now down one Pokemon. It was a pseudo-legendary, for God's sake. But not only did he lose one of his most powerful Pokemon like that, but now Ash is going towards his 6th gym battle in this region, and he has 4 Pokemon. So he needs to catch at least 2 more in this region that has the smallest roster of any region, and most of them we've seen already, and have to build them up personality-wise. You know, like connection-wise, if you will. And I don't know if it's going to be as good as it would be unless they span the episodes between gym battles even more, which I would be okay with to an extent in order for us to build connections with said new team members, but it's still kind of bad when you only have 4 Pokemon and you're on your way to the 6th gym. So, it's like, what else could he get? I mean, there's a lot of speculation that he's going to be getting Go-Go or a Honedge. I would really like him to have a Honedge because he's never had a Ghost type. He could have had Haunter back in Gen 1, but he never caught it, and he gave it to Sabrina, which didn't make any sense because she's a Psychic type gym leader and he's a Ghost type. But I digress. I would really like him to get a Honedge. I really would. I would like him to evolve it all the way to a Aegislash, but it's Ash. There's no guarantee that it will. But Goodra is gone at the moment. Yes, it is depressing to see such a beloved Pokemon be released, but there's a chance it could come back. And if it doesn't, we had him for a good while to begin with, so you really can't complain much. So, that's all I really wanted to say about this. This is the Mad King Paradox S signing off, and I will see you all for whatever I do next.